Banking with Capital One helps you keep more money in your wallet with no fees or minimums on checking accounts and no overdraft fees. Just ask the Capital One bank guy. It's pretty much all he talks about, in a good way. He'd also tell you that this podcast is his favorite podcast, too. Aw, really? Thanks, Capital One bank guy. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
Hey there, it's Ryan Seacrest for Safeway. Now through August 28th, it's back to deals time where you can enjoy store-wide deals and earn 4 times points. Look for in-store tags to earn on eligible items. From Califia Farms, Pillsbury, Crescent, Yoplait, General Mills, Prego, Bertolli, Heinz, and Kraft. Then clip the offer in the app for automatic event-long savings. Shop in-store or online for easy drive-up-and-go pickup or delivery. Subject to availability. Restrictions apply. Visit Safeway.com for more details.
When you're starting off with something new, it seems like your to-do list keeps growing. Finding the right tool helps, and that tool is Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of U.S. e-commerce. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/retail. Go to shopify.com/retail.
If you're a lineman in charge of keeping the lights on, Grainger understands that you go to great lengths and sometimes heights to ensure the power is always flowing, which is why you can count on Grainger for professional-grade products and next-day delivery, so you have everything you need to get the job done. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome to a Daily Tech News Show special edition where we take a little deeper dive into a topic for you. Today, we've got James Thatcher, a.k.a. Big Jim, here to tell us about battery shipping rules. And if you're like, why do I care about battery shipping rules? Well, they are keeping your phone's battery capacity from getting larger, at least if you're in the U.S. and the EU. So I asked Jim to look into this and see what he could find, as you are a logistics person. You work in the industry.
Yeah, I work in international logistics. I've been doing this for well over 20 years. So what I have found is basically a lot of it comes back to the International Maritime Organization dangerous goods requirements, as well as the IACO, which is the International Association, IATA, International Air Transport Association, and their IACO codes, which specifically talk about dangerous goods.
Yeah, so these are international, though. So that's interesting.
Yes. Well, there's also U.S. requirements that are monitored by the Department of Transportation. But, I wanted to lead with international because we have an international audience, Tom.
Of course.
So, but yeah, no, the predominant force behind the U.S. rules and regulations is international. So anytime you travel or transport goods between two countries, you have to deal with various different IMO or IATA requirements, as well as then if it's coming by rail, there's the IRB and there's a bunch of other things that can.
And these are all things to make sure that there's safety and efficiency.
This all falls back under hazardous materials, which lithium-ion batteries are definitely considered a hazardous material. If we remember back a couple of years ago where we had, thermal run-ons, is the technical
Samsung
jargon for it.
It essentially killed the Note. Well,
we thought it killed the Note, but it didn't really.
Well, we don't have the Note anymore.
Well,
so it may have not killed it immediately, but yeah,
it eventually did.
It definitely damaged the Samsung Note brand a little bit with those fires. That was like 2016, so it's been a minute. But yeah, lithium ion batteries are volatile under rare but existent circumstances. They can catch fire. So you don't want that in your plane. You don't want that in your boat. So they have restrictions. What are the restrictions?
So you have to keep your single cell of a phone or any lithium ion device that's integrated into a device. So cell phones, iPads, tablets, computers, etc. They have to stay, if it's a single cell, each single cell has to stay under 20 kilowatt hours, which takes you, when you do the math, to roughly 5,100 milliamp hours, give or take.
And a single cell is not always what is in a phone, but
correct.
Usually when you're talking about phones, you only have one cell.
Correct. Usually within phones, you have one cell. Now, OnePlus, I believe, has a dual cell that they work with. All your laptops have dual cells. Several tablets are now going into dual cells, if not triple cells, because of the rising use of them. But a lot of that then also gets into when you have a cell. Again, I'm not an engineer. I'm sure an engineer can point this out to us. But when you have a cell, you have to compartmentalize it in a certain way so that it is restricted from other cells. The big issue then becomes thermal run-on, like we saw with the Samsung Note, where the heat builds up and it basically creates a fire, and that fire can immediately spread to the other cells quickly. It's not like a regular fire as well. So normally, if you're in a cargo aircraft, I'm not even going to talk about passenger aircraft because that gets interesting, but if you're on a cargo aircraft and you're in the middle of a flight and there might be a fire, the first thing you do is, to my understanding, is you'll trip a fire suppression system, and part of that fire suppression system will then also, you will basically depressurize the cabin. So you'll drop it down so there's no oxygen. It's an oxygen less rich environment. And by doing that, that helps quench a fire down, because you need three things for a fire. You need fuel, you need heat, and you need oxygen. Well, in a lithium ion fire, those items, oxygen deprivation is not really a problem. It can work on very little oxygen and still burn very, very warm.
So the idea then is that if you keep it to 5,100 milliamp hours, or I can't remember, it's 20.5 kilowatt.
It's 20 kilowatt hours.
20 kilowatt hours. Then you are reducing the intensity of a fire and making it easier to put out. Is that the theory?
Well, the theory is that it is less likely that you will have a thermal run-on based upon that. Because
so you're reducing the incidences by doing
correct,
that.
because the cell size, as the cell size is shrunk, there's less likelihood of a rupture. Yeah, and that's to my reading and understanding. Again, I'm not an engineer.
But that's the argument anyway.
Right.
Yeah. Which is why your laptop can have a big battery, because it's got multiple cells in it. And each one of those cells is less likely to have thermal run-on. That all makes sense to me. It's also makes sense to me, and maybe it does or doesn't to people listening, that a laptop can handle switching between multiple cells for its power source more easily than a less powerful and lighter device like a phone, which is why, again, the whole reason we're talking about this is why your phone generally doesn't go over 5,100 milliamp hours, because what happens if I create a 6,000 milliamp hour phone, right? That is above the limit. Can I just not ship it, or what?
No. So here's the interesting thing. Those restrictions specifically at the 20 kilowatt hour are specifically for air and ocean cargo. If you were going to, let's say we're back in the old days and we're at RIM up in Canada and we're making blackberries. Okay. And for whatever reason, they're making blackberries in Canada, and you're going to ship a bunch of blackberries down to the U.S. You can use up to 60 kilowatt hours in a cell and bring it down into the U.S. without issue, as long as it's by truck or by rail. Now, there's certain placards you have to put on it, et cetera, et cetera. But
it's doable.
It's doable. Now,
is it more costly in that case? Because
your dangerous goods costs go way up, because it becomes a different type of certification.
And as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not a logistics expert, there are no truck or rail routes over oceans.
Not yet.
Okay.
Working on it. I am still waiting on Elon Musk to build my hyperrail
tunnel
from China to the U.S. I put this out there 15 years ago, and he still hasn't done it. Get off of X, Elon, and build my darn tunnel.
So if I make a 10,000 milliamp hour battery in Guangzhou, I can sell it in Europe, but I have to send it by rail. Could I get it to North America somehow?
No. You could.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, could you get
Not
it
legally,
to Europe?
anyway, yeah.
Europe's a different story because when I talk about the 60 kilowatt hour, that's a U.S. restriction specifically.
Okay. So that's not one of the international restrictions.
The EU is going to be completely different. The same thing is said in China and India. You'll see in China and India, they have much larger single cells in that are for sale in those markets. And that's because those markets actually have the factories there. So
Okay.
it's a domestic move for them. It comes down to what their local laws and requirements are. I can tell you from my research, there are other ways you can still do this, but they become quite costly because it becomes what's called a class 9 hazmat, which is the highest class you can. So if you wanted to build a phone and you wanted to have a single cell and you wanted to put 70 kilowatt hours in it for whatever reason, you can do it, but it will move it class 9 cargo, which is the most expensive, most required, paperwork and everything else and costly method of movement.
Picture this. You're in the garage, hands covered in grease, just finished up tuning your engine with a part you found on eBay, and you realize, you know what? I could also use new brakes. So where do you go next? Back to eBay. You can find anything there. It's unreal. Wipers, headlights, even cold air intakes. It's all there. And you've got eBay Guaranteed Fit. You order a part, and if it doesn't fit, send it back. Simple as that. Look, DIY fixes can be major. Doesn't matter if it's just maintenance or a major mod. You got it, especially when things are guaranteed to fit. So when you dive into your next car project, start with eBay. All the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love.
Gene Smart has just returned to Broadway in the hit play, Call Me Izzy. And critics can't stop raving. The New York Times cheers. Gene Smart is an awe-inspiring triumph. Deadline calls it a tour de force performance and a remarkable new play. The audience is dazzled and completely in her hands, says The New Yorker. And the Washington Post adds, Gene Smart is transfixing. Call Me Izzy, the can't-miss Broadway event of the summer.
Hey there, it's Ryan Seacrest for Safeway. Now through August 28th, it's back to deals time where you can enjoy store-wide deals and earn 4 times points. Look for in-store tags to earn on eligible items. From Cape Cod, Haagen-Dazs, M&M's, Ritz, Chips Ahoy, Deer Park, All, Poppy, Charmin, and Red Bull. Then clip the offer in the app for automatic event-long savings. Shop in-store or online for easy drive-up-and-go pickup or delivery. Subject to availability. Restrictions apply. Visit Safeway.com for more details.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
I'm no tech genius, but I knew if I wanted my business to crush it, I needed a website now. Thankfully, Bluehost made it easy. I customized, optimized, and monetized everything exactly how I wanted with AI. In minutes, my site was up. I couldn't believe it. The search engine tools even helped me get more site visitors. Whatever your passion project is, you can set it up with Bluehost. With their 30-day money-back guarantee, what have you got to lose? Head to Bluehost.com to start now.
And then on top of that, every time that phone gets touched or sold, you have to include an entire DMG that goes along with it that talks about what happens if that item were to have a thermal run-on and all the components within it and everything else.
You mean, what is a DMG? Is that something paperwork you file, or is that in the box?
So if you remember, most of us at one point or another worked in fast food or worked in a restaurant of some type. You'll know that there are, for every chemical that's in that restaurant, regardless of how toxic or whatever it is, you'll have a toxic sheet or something on it that tells you if it's, if you get this in your eyes, this is what you do.
Okay.
If it's skin exposure, this is what you do. DMG is very, very similar to that, except it's a lot thicker and has a lot more detail as to chemical components and how things interact with one another.
But would Samsung have to put that in the Galaxy box, or
Yes.
is that just something? Yeah. So it increases the weight.
Every
of the product.
single shipment would have to, and when I say shipment, I'm not talking every case of phones. I'm saying every individual
box,
unit of a phone has to have this with it. And then let's say you are able to sell this phone, right? And I have it in my pocket. Well, then I have to carry that with me everywhere I go, because if I have an accident on the highway, or if I want to get on a plane, which first of all, you're not going to get on a plane, but even if you wanted to, anywhere you took it with you, you have to have that manual with you.
Yeah, and they're not going to let you on the plane. So this is basically saying, yes, technically you could ship that level of a cell, but it's not practical. Right. It's too costly. Users aren't going to want to carry a DMG around with them. So that's just kind of off the table. Your other options are to make sure that you make it locally, and you still have limits depending on which region you're in. And it's more expensive.
Right.
So the complication of having it manufactured for a worldwide market and the cost probably is what's keeping battery size to be, generally speaking, more often than not less than 6,000 milliamp hours, or 5,100, I guess.
5,100 milliamp hours. But the other thing, and I didn't say what DMG was. I just said the initial. Sorry. DMG is Dangerous Materials Guide. So I need to specify what that means in case people are going to write in. But the other side of that is also, there's nothing that stops a company from having multi-cells. Sure. And, I had a OnePlus for several years and had multi-cells, and it works fine. It's programmed to handle it. Now, does that programming take up space on the hard drive? Is there a cost for that? Does it increase the weight of the phone, et cetera, et cetera? Yes. So these are just kind of things that manufacturers have to take into account. Not only that, but when you go above that 20 kilowatt hour per single cell, even if we wanted to do that, you have to do drop tests. You have to do all these other things that show certification, that even if I take my phone here and I drop it, it's not going to start a thermal run-on or cause an impact of some type. So, because let's be honest, in the shipping industry, we're really known for, our light touch of every single carton that comes through everybody's door.
Right. So there's probably no movement or no possibility that those rules are going to change, because the danger is not changing.
The safety hazard is way too high. So regardless of administration, it doesn't matter. Those will not change. If it were to happen, there'd be problems.
Building on what you're telling me, the possibility for higher capacity batteries are multiple cells, which, companies can get better and more innovative at doing and do more things like OnePlus and figure out how to keep the cost down. So there's a possibility there. The other would be new kinds of batteries, something that doesn't use a material that is as regulated. We've had promises of those over and over and over for decades. So one of these days one will hit, but we don't know that that's coming anytime soon. Or making it locally and getting under whatever your regional amount is, which already has happening in China and India, and potentially could happen elsewhere as well.
But,
Am I missing anything?
Again, remember that if you were to do that at that point under a single cell, you wouldn't be able to go on an aircraft. So that hampers.
That's going to limit. Yeah. That's
a lot of people a lot of people who can't afford it from wanting to buy it, because I don't know anybody who has a cell phone who doesn't want to get on a plane. We
already have people surprised in China when they have to throw away their external battery charger because it doesn't meet the certification standards they just put in place there. So imagine if you bought a phone at the store, at the T-Mobile store or the Verizon store, and then you got on the plane and they're like, sorry, can't take that.
And the TSA is really stringent at, hey, you really shouldn't be taking this through. And they're supposed to alert the airline, because the TSA does have minor authority, but they don't have a lot of authority with regard to batteries and things like that. It's the airlines and their policies that really tighten the clamp. Because they have to adhere to the IATA rules. And again, the other thing is, portable batteries. This is a 10,000 this is a 50,000 milliamp hour battery. It's got multiple cells within it. You know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with just carrying an extra brick around if you need one.
Yeah. At least that is the solution for now. Barring some kind of successful change in battery chemistry for phones.
Well, until we get to the nuclear powered phone.
Yeah. It's that, or it's companies getting more innovative at being able to include multiple cells like you have in your external charger inside your phone.
Yep.
BigJim, thank you so much for helping us understand this. I appreciate you digging in on this. Yeah, I know this was something you didn't know off the top of your head. You had to do some work, so I appreciate it.
This was one of those ones, and this is what I enjoy about the show and the community is, you know, why are we doing it this way? And me having to learn even more. Yes, that's a hint for Tom's Know a Little More segment. But that being said, thanks for having me on, Tom. And as always, if anybody needs to get a hold of me, feel free to drop a line in the Discord. Just make sure you at me. The other thing, I want to direct people. I haven't done it for a while, but I'm going to do it anyway. Direct people to go to my logisticshaiku.com website, which will lead you to my Logistics Haiku book. Just if you're bored, it's only $1. I really don't make money off it, but it's just good fun.
Yeah, no, they're good haikus. I can attest to that. It's good stuff. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it, man.
Always. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you for supporting the show, everybody, at patreon.com/DTNS. We'll talk to you soon.
The DTNS family of podcasts, helping each other understand.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
If your dog could talk, they'd beg for Ollie. The full-body tail wag, the excited little hops, the big, goofy grin, that's the Ollie effect. Ollie delivers clean, fresh nutrition in 5 drool-worthy flavors, even for the pickiest eaters. Made in U.S. kitchens with high-quality, human-grade ingredients, Ollie's food contains no fillers, no preservatives, just real food. Just fill out Ollie's 30-second quiz and they'll create a customized meal plan based on your pup's weight, activity level, and other health info. Dogs deserve the best, and that means fresh, healthy food. Head to ollie.com/healthypup, tell them about your dog, and use code HEALTHYPUP to get 60% off your welcome kit when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a happiness guarantee on the first box, so if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's OLLIE.com/healthypup and enter code HEALTHYPUP to get 60% off your first box.